Good morning, Mr. Future Attorney General Glenn Kirschner. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Steph.
I'm sure you're. Thank you on this busy morning when you are already, I'm sure, arranging your Trump Crimes Commission, for your first full day as Attorney General. But good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I feel like I got a shot of Novocaine and a little bit of laughing gas.
Yeah.
Yes, because you're a man that honors strong women. You said Senator Harris is a fighter. We need fighters. You said Biden-Harris is a strong ticket, an honorable ticket, an experienced ticket, a kind, caring ticket. Biden-Harris is an American ticket. I would settle for just having an American in the Oval Office again, right?
Yeah, rather than a Russian. Yeah,
yes.
No, I think it's a terrific ticket. And, I love Senator Harris, not just because she's a former prosecutor.
Yes.
And, that's where my heart will always be. It's, fighting for the people, fighting for the victim, trying to keep the community safe, and honoring the rights of the defendant in the process in every case, because that's the only way people can have confidence in the outcome, is if we treat every defendant fairly and equally, not, favor some like Roger Stone and Mike Flynn and put others back in prison like Michael Cohen because they have the nerve to suggest they may say something critical about the president of the United States. Look at how far we have fallen. But, Senator Harris is the exact right pick for this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, you'd probably be happy just to see some semblance of something that we recognize as justice back in America. What was it like, Glenn, to be, because I was following you, of course, live tweeting with all our other legal lads and ladies about this Michael Flynn thing as you're watching the Kamala Harris thing. That must have been a wonderful disconnect in a way from, because I know you will get into the Flynn case, but just watching this travesty as you were tweeting about it, right? And then hearing the Kamala thing, what were you feeling?
I mean, it was sort of the best of justice and the worst of justice all at the same time, because, Joe Biden and Senator Harris will restore sort of our institutions of justice, the FBI, the Department of Justice. And, what we saw in the Mike Flynn case, we can talk about it now, or we can wait for a minute.
Go ahead.
It was injustice at its most, frankly, disgusting. We had an acting Solicitor General of the United States of America whose job, Steph, is to promote the rule of law and represent the interests of the American people.
Yeah.
He got up there, this guy, Jeff Wall, right? He got up there and he was siding with...
Did Mexico pay for him?
Mexico paid his retainer, yeah. So he got up there and he sided with Mike Flynn's lawyers. And this was the most absurd argument I think I've ever heard in an appellate court. And I argued lots of cases on appeal as a prosecutor in lots of different appellate courts. He was asked by the judges that if a case was getting ready for trial and the prosecutor walked in and the defense attorney walked in and the judge was on the bench, and in the months leading up to the trial, the prosecutor had been assuring the judge, we're ready to go. We have enough evidence to convict this man beyond a reasonable doubt. We're in the chute. Let's go to trial. And then on the day of trial, the defendant handed a big fat suitcase full of cash to the prosecutor. And the two spoke. And then the prosecutor turned to the judge and said, Your Honor, change of plans. The government moves to dismiss this case. So think about that.
Yeah.
The judges set up a hypothetical where the presiding judge saw the bribery unfold in real time, and then they asked the Solicitor General, Mr. Wall, surely under those circumstances, the judge could inquire of the government's motive for dismissing that case. And the acting Solicitor General of the United States said, no, he could not, Your Honor. He would have to dismiss the case. And the judges said, so you would make the judge under those circumstances become complicit in the bribery and allow the parties to make a mockery of our system of justice rather than inquire of the government's motives behind their motion to dismiss? The Solicitor General said, that's right, Your Honor. I mean, that's a low point in any appellate argument I have ever heard.
Well, you said Flynn's lawyer, Ms. Powell, just had the single worst opening line I've ever heard in court, saying defendant Flynn's case is now without a prosecutor. You said exactly. Bill Barr has abdicated, quit his role as a prosecutor, as a voice for the people, and is in league with Flynn. Okay, so first of all, tell me about this part. She claimed that that Barr had reasons to intervene in Flynn's case, but he can't tell the court there's secret undisclosed reasons for dismissing the case against what do you call it, Flynn. I think you tweeted, DOJ lawyer arguing now, Solicitor General Wall just said executive branch is worried about Judge Sullivan conducting an intrusive inquiry about why in the world Barr has joined forces with Flynn's defense team and is trying to dismiss the Flynn's case. You said, oh, I bet they are. I mean,
I'll bet
is
they
this,
are.
what, is this part of this Durham nonsense? What is he talking about? I mean,
It may be. We don't know what the secret reasons are, but what we do know is that the reason Mike Flynn and Bill Barr are trying so desperately to prevent Judge Sullivan from holding a hearing is because the last thing they want is an intrusive inquiry by which the American people could see all of the dirty dealing that went into Bill Barr changing course. Think about this. All of the prosecutors before Bill Barr waddled in had been telling the judge, had been telling the judge.
I love that the most. Go ahead.
Your Honor, he's really guilty. We have enough evidence to prove his guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and he has no legal defenses. Mike Sullivan and his lawyers said the same exact thing. And then Bill Barr comes in and says, no, we've got to dismiss this case. You know that was dirty dealing behind the scenes. And Judge Sullivan is trying to get to the bottom of it so he can make an informed decision about whether to dismiss the case or not.
Right. You and Barb McQuaid, our other legal lady friend, she said Sidney Powell's arguing for Flynn. Her arguments are word salad that might sound good to Fox News crowd, but don't make a coherent legal argument. So then you and Joyce Vance, oh my beloveds, you said Ms. Powell has just argued a defendant can bribe a prosecutor to dismiss a case, and the judge, even being aware of the bribe, can do nothing to explore it and must just dismiss the case. You said her argument is the rule requires the judge to be tacitly complicit in the bribery scheme. The Flynn argument reduced to its essence. DOJ is afraid of what will come out if the judge inquires into the process and let it to dismiss charges against Flynn. This appeal is only about preventing that inquiry, and the judge is highly likely to ultimately grant the motion. I think it is hard for us lay people to just understand this, right? I mean,
So I'm going to try to play devil's advocate. Here is what the Department of Justice was trying to argue, but they just botched it badly. They were trying to say there's separation of powers issues here, and the prosecutors are the ones who get to exercise prosecutorial discretion about whether to dismiss a case or prosecute the case. And I get that all day long. And typically judges don't have any power or any authority to enter into that mix unless there's corruption going on. And there's case law that says if a court gets a whiff of bribery being involved in a prosecutorial decision, the judge has some leeway to look into that rather than being used as a tool to further the bribery. So that's kind of what the DOJ is trying to do.
Yeah, Glenn, I feel like this is part of what people are in by the millions in the streets all over America about, is this two systems of justice. I was just talking yesterday about the E. Jean Carroll case. I was outraged by the whole thing about the consensual BJ investigating President Clinton's private life. But the rule of law was that he had to give DNA and he had to sit and give testimony, which is what he did. So now, as usual, Trump's trying to delay and delay and delay. The Supreme Court has ruled against him. He is required to provide his DNA. There is a deadline. He is required to testify. And once again, he's delaying. And this is for rape. This is not for a consensual BJ. This is for sexual assault. And they're trying to do the same thing they always did, delay, right?
And the rule of law says that if you're placed under oath and you're required to testify about something, as Bill Clinton was in a deposition, you have to tell the truth. And if you don't, there are consequences. And I think that's why the Clinton thing ended up where it did. Right. And I'm with you. That was a matter about, his personal life and his, poor choices. But are those high crimes and misdemeanors that rise to the level of impeachment and removal? But here's the thing, and I will circle back to Kamala Harris, because what I love about what she did is when she had the opportunity to question high government officials under oath, she elicited information that will need to be investigated as perjury in January, because we saw Bill Barr say, I don't know if the White House asked me to investigate somebody, when he did know. That's perjury. We saw her take down Brett Kavanaugh in his confirmation hearing. And the beauty of that, if you assume this is what judges do in appellate arguments all the time. Assume this hypothetical to be true.
Yeah.
If Bill Barr and Brett Kavanaugh lied under oath, I contend they did, but just take that out of the mix and assume they did. What would you have us do about it in January? Do we turn the other cheek? Do we accept the perjury, thereby encouraging
in the
future perjury? Or do we open investigations into both of those men and charge them with perjury and prosecute them?
No, future Attorney General Glenn Kirschner, we open a Trump Crimes Commission is what we do. And as you even tweeted, Pompeo needs to be front and center as part of a Trump Crimes Commission investigation into the mountain of criminal activity perpetuated by the Trump administration. You're right, Glenn. It is not petty vindictiveness that like the Trump administration engages in. It's about justice. It is about the rule of law in America. It is about precedent. And you're right. We have a lot to set right come January. Let me just say the tweet I was most, because you always give me some happy clappy at the end. You said we will work around Trump and DeJoy's criminal conspiracy to interfere in the elections by slowing down the mail, destroying the U.S. Postal Service. We will defeat Bill Barr's rampant lawlessness. We are better than that. We're smarter than that. We will vote them out. # justice is coming. We're going to have a fight on a lot of fronts. There's going to be a October surprise from Bill Barr and this phony Durham investigation. There's Russia, as we know, full speed ahead. There is this destruction of the post office. I don't even know what to ask you. They're talking about executive orders to stop them from delivering ballots or do God knows what to the.
They've killed all overtime for Postal Service employees, and we have to realize 20% of the mail gets delivered while Postal Service employees are working on overtime. They are taking automated sorting machines out and making people sort by hand, which will slow down the mail by, a factor of 1,000. Now, I do believe we're going to win. We're going to overcome every single nefarious challenge and monkey wrench these clowns are throwing into the mix. But right now, what I believe we have to do, what I think is most important, is for all 50 states, or at least those states who have law-abiding attorneys general and governors and legislatures, they need to file suit. Not today, but yesterday, because what Trump and DeJoy are doing is they are depriving the citizens of the 50 states, never mind from a federal perspective, citizens, they are depriving them of their right to vote in the upcoming election. And we need to flood the courts. All 50 states need to flood the courts and put a stop to it, get restraining orders, get injunctions, temporary injunctions right now. We need to do that right now.
Stop them now. Stop them now. I mean, we can do everything we can do. Check and recheck your registration. Vote early if you can. Take your ballot to a drop box if you can. All of that. But you're right. We have to fight on every level, every day, with every breath we have, right? And that's exactly right.
And we can do it.
Now,
justice is energizing. We can do it.
Yay! Yes! I love you, Captain America. I mean, for future Attorney General Kirschner. Glenn. It's the last day I can call you Glenn. Thanks, honey.
Thanks, Steph. Love you.
All right, love you.